Okay,
Okay.
Chinese culture chat.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we're viewing here right now is Chinese culture chat.
Awesome.
All right. Let's get started. Okay, and
Okay.
for today's Chinese culture check, we're gonna talk about a little bit about the Children's Day. It's coming up for like tomorrow. All right. So for this thing, I want to talk about some what like Chinese students do during that day for the Children's Day, and how it's different from the U.S. And did the student during your class did the student talk about this already? Like oh, like teacher during Children's Day, I have to do this at school. And then, for example, do they during that day was at school is it different or not? It is school activities, or did they go to a field trip or something like maybe they get a half day off from school. All right. And to start with this, I remember when I was still in China for first, second, third, fourth grade, and then every year was a little bit different for the Children's Day. If they falls on the weekdays, and they will have like a school activities, and then which all the different grades will um, join together in like outside the field, and then they have like different activities. Like the school president will do a speech. We have some activities like singing, dancing, and then and then also like um something like I remember was we have a group like make a skit on it for that day, and then the topic is about like a lot of, like funny stuff like activities, and then and so my question is, do we have that in the U.S. and or in Indonesia for the Children's Day?
I think my dad always used to say, "Isn't every day Children's Day?" I mean, what do you need a Children's Day
Oh,
for?
that's a good point.
Judas Priest, every day is Children's Day. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I'm unaware of this day here, June 1st. Is it really International Children's Day, or is it just Chinese
I think it
Children's
was
Day?
internet. I think it was
I never heard of it.
Never heard.
They never had it when I was a kid. Damn it!
What?
No,
Dang.
I never heard of this.
Hey.
It's a bunch of hooey.
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary. What about like in America? Do we have like a Children's Day thing going on?
I don't think Mary's really there.
Oh.
I think she just turned it on to pretend.
Oh snap!
Maybe she's. Oh,
Hello.
she is there.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Hello. I am experimenting with this Zoom thing on my
On your
Android
on your
phone
phone.
for the
Oh,
first time.
Cool.
On my phone. Never done this before because I'm multitasking.
All right.
So I wanted to see if it worked.
What's that mean? Are you
I have
doing
it
the
on.
dishes? What are you doing? Multi.
Actually, you know what? I'm actually outside.
Wow.
I had something to
Uh-oh.
do, and so guess what? I didn't want to miss the culture meeting because I was like, okay, maybe I can do it on my phone and still listen to Jerry and be incognito and just listen. So, and it's actually working very well. So if I drop off, guys, that's why. I'll pick it back up and
Right.
come back in. But I'm kind of multitasking. But anyway, I don't recall anything about International Children's Day in America. This is the first time I've ever heard of it. So
Right. Every day is Children's Day in America.
That's kind of true.
You
Yeah.
know?
Like I remember when I was there, we don't have like much of homework and anything like that. As compared to here, I asked my cousin like yesterday, right? And then asked him like when you usually go sleep, and it was like after midnight. I was like, why? I got like a stacks of homework to do before I go to sleep. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. So I told him about, if you go to the US, right, it's way much better. All you do is like just after school, like just a little bit homework and you're all free to go, Yeah. And then so if we don't like, for example, if we don't have like a Children's Day in the US, do we have like a similar thing, like another like event for the kids?
I don't know of some kind of. I mean, you were there. Do you ever remember seeing this
Me,
when you were in school?
I was
I
school.
was in school a long time ago, Jerry. They didn't even have electricity when I was in school.
Oh, that. Like maybe we have assembly or pep rally. That's like nothing.
First of all, June 1st is like, school's almost out. Who cares?
I mean,
everybody's just thinking about summer vacation.
Yeah, I think that's the Children's Day for us, or the U.S. Summer vacation, the Children's Day, right? And okay, and so I have a really curious question for you guys. For your students, did they already talk about the Children's Day already?
I haven't heard any word of it from my kids.
Wow. What about Mary?
Hey, Mary.
Hello? Angela, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yes. I did hear of the kids did talk about that. And matter of fact, you know what? Come to think of it, one of my students, Simon, did say, "Did you know it's Happy International Children's Day?" I said, "No, I did not." And he said, "Well, it is. Do I get a Happy International Children's Day?" And I said, "Yes, you do." So he made sure I know that this was a day that I needed to say Happy Chinese Children's Day to him. So I did. So he was the only one that mentioned it, though. He was the only one that mentioned it.
Yeah. Cool. What about Angela? Do you have any like your students talk about this to you? Hello?
Are you there, Angela? I guess she's shy. She doesn't show her mic being muted.
Yeah. All right. If you feel free to like type it too if you want.
Oh, it is muted.
Yeah. And then
her mic doesn't even show up. Her mic isn't even installed.
Wow.
Oh, I'm gonna send her a note.
All right. And then also I remember during the Chinese the Children's Day, we do have school activities. It's basically every class they have to come up with like a class event, or like say like, because in China that like every class will have about 40 people, 40 students, and in that particular class, the teacher will ask, "Hey, Children's Day will come up. We have to do this event, and we can do group singing, group dancing, and then skits and other activities." And so that day is, what I remember, I think, we have school activities during that day. And I think, what about in America? Do you have like some school activities every day going on, or just like particular day do like a activity as a school?
Well, I guess in Indonesia they do acknowledge this date, but to be real honest, I don't remember anything particularly special going on at school other than the acknowledgement of it. I mean, I don't think they did any. There was no assembly or anything.
Right.
So I don't think it was such a huge deal here.
Then what did they do in Indonesia and then Indonesia?
Well, as I said, I don't remember we did anything
Nothing?
other than maybe acknowledge it.
Hmm.
But that's kind of like Teachers Day. I mean, what do you get on Teachers Day? Sometimes you get the kids will scribble a picture or something and tell you that you're really cool. It's kind of neat. International
Yeah,
Children's Day,
International Children's Day.
Indonesia. I don't remember, So International Children's Day in
Yeah.
Indonesia is July 23rd. Okay, so
I think there's nothing.
and school's out during July 23rd, so we don't get to. It's kind of a really, I don't know. It seems like a stupid day to have a Children's Day, but there's lots of pictures of kids playing in the street and stuff. But as far as school goes, it was just never an issue.
That's interesting.
National Children's Day, Jakarta International School World Children's Day. Now, see, UNICEF has a World Children's Day, so it's, I don't know, it's, and that's on November 20th. So, let's get our story straight.
Yeah.
World Children's Day is November 20th, according to this, UNICEF. So
Wow.
I don't know about June 1st.
So this might be the Chinese thing then? I guess?
Evidently.
Wow. Because when I grew up and then till now, it's like June 1st, Children's Day, June 1st, Children's Day.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that would be true.
Yeah. And then also, remember there's one time, I think it was third grade when I was here still, and we had a field trip during that day, during the Children's Day. So we had to meet up at the school around 8 a.m. and then they will have buses arrive, everything, and then we're gonna hop on the bus, and then we went to the Chinese zoo. It was a 1 hour, 2 hour drive for us, and then we had a pretty fun time over there. We saw a lot of animals, elephants, zebras, all that stuff. And then also we had to bring our own lunch. It was not provided for lunch, so we had to pack our own lunch during that day. And then we have a little picnic going on during lunchtime. But the thing is, you have to sit with your class, and you can't just go somewhere else and do it, and then with your friends, and you have to sit as a whole class in there. And we went back home around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then that day parents have to show up to pick up the kids, and then I think we just went home for that. Yeah. And is it I think it was in America, I don't have a field trip and thing for a whole school to go, right? We don't have that in it.
Yeah, we rarely went anywhere in school.
We outside, yeah.
But the States is a lot different. We lived in a suburb, and it was
Right.
it was 60 miles to Seattle or something like that. And 1959, 60 miles to Seattle was it took you 2 days to get there. It was a long trip because it was what you consider to be country roads now, just single lane traffic, just all the way down 60 miles. It was a big deal to go to Seattle. It was a huge deal to go to Seattle in those days. But in Indonesia, we went on one field trip per semester for the school, and the whole school went on a field trip on the same day. So they would divide it by class, and I'd always get the 8th grade boys. Great, perfect, right? A whole night bus full of 8th grade boys. And Jakarta, the day, like you say, started at 7 in the morning or something like that, and they try to get out of there on time. And Indonesians somehow love to travel for 40 hours and they'll meet somebody for 5 minutes and then they'll go home.
Huh.
I mean, I just don't understand their thinking. I mean, they'll drive for 12 hours and visit somebody for 2 hours and then leave.
Is this like a culture thing though?
I guess, I mean, they really love traffic, I guess.
Yeah.
But, same way with the field trip. It would take, in Jakarta traffic at 7 in the morning, you try to take a 60-foot bus through, rush hour traffic in downtown Jakarta. It takes you 4 hours to get there. So if we left at 8 o'clock in the morning, we would not get there until noon or 1 o'clock. We would be there for maybe 2 hours, and then we'd have to turn around and go back. And we'd get back at like 6 o'clock at night for what? I live downtown, so I always told the school, I'll meet you there. I'm not going to go on the bus. I'll just meet you there. And I was always the backup teacher. I was not the primary teacher of the group. I was always the backup guy, which was by design. I didn't want to ever be the main guy. So if we went to the aquarium or we went somewhere, it was like 10 minutes from my house, driving my own car. And I would just leave and say, okay, I'm going home. Thanks, bye.
Wow.
And the Indonesian teachers would never challenge me on it. They, okay, pa, okay, pa. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, here is this, in China, I think it's kind of the same, especially in Beijing, like those big cities ones. And then for us, it was like, if I want to go play like a badminton, right? It took me about like an hour or two to just go there, like to just be there, the traveling time. And then I only play like 2 hours, is it? And then I have to go I go back to my house for another 2 hours. Yeah. Then if you get lucky enough, there's no traffic at all, I can make it for a 1 hour trip to go. It's kind of like Indonesian, like about like the traffic thing.
Well, in any densely populated area now, certainly Indonesia doesn't have as many people totally as China does, but Greater Jakarta is as densely populated as anywhere in China. And anything that is for public consumption, like a zoo or a theme park or the beach or whatever, is overused on holidays, weekends, and holidays. We live about 3 miles from the zoo. Okay, we live about 3 miles from everywhere because we're in downtown. We live 3 miles from the zoo. Okay, so we say, oh, let's go to the zoo. Okay, sure. We get out there. Oh, whoops, we forgot about traffic.
Oh no!
And we leave our house and we get in a line. And the line is to the zoo, right?
That's a good one.
And it will take an hour to get to the zoo. And it's only 3 miles. It takes an hour to get there. And then you get to look for a parking spot.
Yeah, that's into the parking spot too.
Oh,
here, like right here in Beijing, yes, we can go this place, but there's no parking lot at all.
They opened up a Dutch-owned warehouse shopping facility in the town we were in, and it had a parking lot like you would see in the West.
That's nice.
And they don't have those everywhere. All parking lots here are vertical, and there's some And you have to go well up. You know, my wife can't ride in them. She gets too. I'm getting dizzy. Slow down. I can't drive. I mean, she has to take valet parking because she can't drive on the whirly thing.
Oh yeah.
Or go down. If I like cranking the wheel. They're perfectly designed. You just crank the wheel and hold it, and you can go as fast as you want. It's just designed that way.
Oh, that sounds fun. Like a roller coaster ride. Huh?
Right. Exactly. The only fun I get.
Also, for some schools, if they don't do like any activities for that day, and then they will get have a half a day off. So which means as around like are like people who already have kids, you know, and then they were like, I'll be off for work. I was like, why? Because my kids will be at home in the afternoon, so no one will be at home. So I was like, oh, that might be it, you know, and that's why that means during Children's Day, the school will give the kids like a half day off just for them to have fun. And and then do we have like this thing like in Indonesia or like in America, like maybe like a half day off? Because I cannot remember anything about that.
Well, yeah, they used to give kids time off. They're pretty liberal about that actually here.
Yeah.
They never gave the teachers. They give, they come up with some busy work for the teachers to trap them there, you know. And I used to complain because it was a 3-hour commute for me. And I yell at the education director. I says, what are you doing? You know, I mean, this is a stupid use of my time. You drag me down here to sit, you know. And that's all we did was we just sat, and half the guys would be drinking coffee and talking. The kids weren't there. And it was a day for the teachers to quote unquote catch up, you know. I said, I have a computer. I can catch up at home. I don't need to be here to catch up. There's nothing to catch up on here. And, but the kids, Indonesia's equal opportunity day off country.
So the teachers take day off too?
They will take a day off for everything. The teachers were supposed to come to work.
But would they?
Supposed to come to work.
Okay, I got you.
Some of us that were rather cranky didn't come to work. There's an old saying, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
Right.
So just do it and say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were supposed to come to work.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
All right. We're going to move on to our new section, which is called the Chinese language. So this topic, we're going to talk for today's topic, we're going to talk about the English loanwords. So what do you guys think? What is English loanwords mean? What does that mean?
Well, words borrowed from English.
Oh, can you give a example?
Well, probably anything. There's probably lots of technical words now that are loan words. There seems to be, Indonesian has maybe 80,000 English words in its language.
Wow.
Yeah, because they just take TION and change it to ASI, like combination becomes combinasi. Ooh, it's kind of like Pig Latin.
What?
Oh, I can't understand you. What are you saying? Combinasi.
What is that?
Now, I'm not sure about loan words in now I saw these words here, and I don't know that. I mean, the words that you had are these are loan words.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah. So, Mary, do you know would you want to give us some examples about the English loan words?
I think Mary's having a barbecue with her neighbors.
Party. All right. It's all good, though. Yeah. Okay. When I give y'all some examples like this, so in English, or we call sauna, right? It goes to the steam room, that one, right?
Okay.
In Chinese, we call sauna. So it sound like this kind of the same thing, but we use it like in pinyin style or in Chinese words. So sauna is sauna, right?
So can you hear this?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
doing
that's
the wrong one.
wow.
This is Google Translate.
桑拿，
Yeah,
桑拿，
sauna.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
you probably would be surprised that sauna is probably not even an English word. It's probably Danish
Really?
because saunas are from Norway originally. So it's probably not even an English word.
So this is like a complex
with.
one.
It's been all over the map. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been borrowed. It was borrowed by the English.
Mhm.
I tell my students when they're trying to pronounce things
Mhm.
that about 40% of the words in the English language are actually French words. And you can tell by the way they're spelled. Because if you ever see like...
Is it like lasagna?
Yeah, well, no, lasagna is Italian,
Oh.
Jerry.
Oh, I need to know my geography. Ah. No.
That's funny. No, but things like rendezvous,
Yeah.
entrepreneur, cuisine,
Cuisine.
chamber.
Really?
Chamber is chambre. Chamber is a French word. Now, it's somewhat easy to see if you read French. It's easy to see the connection between French and English in the written form. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you speak it, it's not so easy because the French have they have a different use of vowels than the English do.
What about French fries? Would that be
French fries are neither French.
or
Yeah, pomme de terre. Pomme de terre is the potato of the earth, is apple of the earth rather. Pomme de terre is apple of the earth, is a potato. Okay.
wow.
Now, French fries are not French.
No.
No, they're an American invention, I believe.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. And to continue on, that was a good one though. Yeah. And then to continue on, like the show we call it, and then in Chinese we call 秀. And then we have a lot of like TV show, right? We call it TV 秀 or 电视秀. So it's 秀 and the show. You see how the tone is kind of like a similar,
right.
And it's really like an interesting one. And then also there's some other interesting one that I found is this two right here. It's first one we call salad, right? And then in Chinese we call 沙拉. You see, it's kind of like another similar, the toning and the word, And then the second one from the shop we call sofa, right? Or couch. But sofa, I remember when I learned it, I was like, hey, I think I know what that means. So in Chinese, it's like it's called 沙发. And I think, some are
there you go.
沙发. Yeah.
沙发，
Yeah. 沙发.
沙发，
So that's sofa.
Now, see, when I was growing up, we immigrated from the United States down to we immigrated into the United States from Canada, and we always learned a sofa is a Chesterfield, which is that's the word for sofa in England. They don't say sofa in England, and they certainly don't say couch. Couch is typically a very American, kind of lower speaking, couch, sit on the couch. Do you ever use the word that like that in Chinese? Couch.
I think we use 沙发 is like more fancy than that. We
Well,
call-
Chesterfield
Yeah,
is even
so-
more fancy. So
yeah, and I think just like
切斯克菲尔德长椅，
Changyi.
Changyi, that's the long one, the long bench. Changyi, it's like
Okay.
the long bench one.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about
沙发切斯克菲尔，
Chukososio?
沙发切斯克菲尔德长椅，
That's what the Chester Fair.
Yeah, Chesterfield, right?
Chesterfield, yeah, that's called the 沙发 Chesterfield long bench. That's
Oh,
what they're saying in Chinese. Yeah, and then
Well, I was always, ridiculed and made fun of when I ever
Uh-huh.
used any kind of terminology that was not quote unquote American.
yeah.
To say Chesterfield. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, you mean a couch, idiot.
Yeah, and then this too, I think was the most common one that we all know about, right? We call kung fu like ha ha ha, like that. And in Chinese, we call kung fu. And kung fu, so is first tone. The second tone is just natural. So kung fu, and so we have one of the famous cartoon we watched is the Kung Fu Panda,
Yeah.
right? And then guess what the Chinese translation would be is 功夫熊猫. So panda is 熊猫. Yeah, 熊猫. Yeah, so it's called 功熊猫. So we call in English we say it Kung Fu Panda, right? And also when we go to like a Chinese restaurant or the Japanese restaurant, they have like a tofu thing, right? And then one of the famous dishes what I ate was in US was the mapo tofu, the spicy tofu thing, right? And then in Chinese we call tofu is doufu. So it's
Dope.
yeah, doufu. Yeah.
In-
And you see how like the pinyin, the English the way how we
Transliteration
Translate,
is the
yeah,
actual
like-
word. Transliteration.
translation thing like
no,
the
transliteration.
transliteration thing.
Right.
You see how the fu are the same, gonna pronounce the same, but the Chinese words is different. You see this thing? And that's really interesting because we have for the pinyin we have about 4 tones, and actually it's 5, but the number 5 tone is natural. It's just like we don't put like a number on it, anything like that, or low thing like going up and down, nothing like that. And then so what I'm saying is, so if that's how the Chinese when you write the Chinese characters on that's how you write it in for tofu or tofu for that, but that's completely different out to kung fu, even though we have the same fu on the end for this one.
And tofu in Indonesian is tahu.
Tahu, you see, it's like a
Tahu.
kind of like a same thing. Tofu,
Yeah,
tofu,
I mean, yeah.
tahu, yeah. And then next one we're talking about like Olympic, right? So we translate it to 4 words. Olympic, we call 奥林匹克. So it's 奥林匹克, and that's what we call it for Olympic. And then we have this Olympic garden. We call it the 奥林匹克公园. So garden is 公园 is not English loan words. It's just a Chinese translation to garden. Also, if you go like to a Chinese restaurant, for example, like say, hey, do you ask one chow mein, lo mein, and in English words, we use it as chow, like CHOW. But in Chinese, like pinyin, we'll use this thing, like chow, CHAO. And it's the third tone in pinyin. So it's chow. Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah. And then you see this one I was talking about, like chow, like chow mein, lo mein. And then this one we use it like this, like chow, CHAO, chow. And you know why like we use the chow like this? This is like a Cantonese way to say it. Like chow fan is Cantonese, means fried rice. Chow. And in Mandarin it's called chow fan. And
So there really is a chow mein?
yeah, there's chow mein. Yeah, chow.
There is.
Yeah, chow. Yeah, I had a chow mein before. Yeah, in China.
Because I was under the impression some of the Chinese dishes that we grew up with in America really don't even exist
Yeah.
in China.
A great example, like what you were saying, is orange chicken, General Chow's chicken, like those two, like particularly that we in China we don't eat that stuff. That's like this American style Chinese.
Which one?
Orange chicken.
How about lemon?
Lemon chicken, I think.
I had lemon chicken in Shanghai.
Shanghai, like I think orange chicken or General Chow's chicken. Those two.
What's General Chow? Is that like the Colonel? Is that like the Colonel? Kentucky Fried Chicken? General Chow's chicken.
No, like
At least it wasn't called Mao's chicken.
Yeah, they have I mean, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's because I had that for a
I've
while.
never heard of that.
General Chow's chicken, like General TSAO, apostrophe S chicken. Yeah, and then yeah. So we have this chow. We can say chow mein. That means chow mein, and chow fan is like fried rice. But we didn't, in America, like we just call it fried rice instead of a chow fan. Because if you say chow fan, they have no idea what it's talking about. Because rice, like for example, rice in Chinese, we don't call it ricey. We don't call that. We call we say it's fan. So it's so it's not like a word literally translated to it. And next one, you see how we had this one, right? The vegetable, bok choy, that one. And then that is literally a Cantonese word. Bai fan. Yeah. Bai fan is white rice. Yeah. Bai fan.
Okay.
Bai is white. So it's like, see, is it the one you said that bai fan is bai is this bai right here. This bai what I'm pointing out. The bai choy, the bai.
Where's it? Where? Sorry, I have to move my pictures here.
Yeah.
Oh,
this word.
I say bye. Oh, okay, bye.
Yeah, bye choy. Bye. That's bai fan. The bai.
Oh, okay. The little boxy thing.
Yeah, the boxy looking one. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Looks like a chest of drawers.
That one.
Yeah.
And this, see, in Mandarin, we call it bai cai, and in English we call it bok choy, right? Bok choy, is that how you say it? Yes, I think. Yeah, you see how, and why they call that? Because I think bok choy is like a Cantonese word for bai cai, like, and then also the next one is very interesting one. We call chocolate, right? Chocolate. In Chinese, we call it 巧克力. You see, so the chocolate, they catch the word the chocolate, right? And then in Chinese, chow. And chow.
Now, is chocolate not indigenous to China?
Well, I mean,
do they grow cocoa? Do they grow cocoa beans in China?
I don't know. We do like a import stuff in China, like.
Well, that would mean that it's not indigenous.
I don't think so.
I'm curious if it was indigenous, you'd have a word for it.
Yeah.
But if you don't even have a word for it, it must not exist there.
Yeah. This.
Normally.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you call a donut? Donuts can't be natural in China. What do you call a donut in China?
Donuts, we call it tian tian chuan.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's two words the same. It's tian tian, like sweet, sweet. Chuan is circle. So sweet circle.
Oh, okay. Sweet,
So we
sweet.
call it. That's literally we
Well,
translated.
that's, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like a
interesting.
sweet circle. Tian tian chuan. Yeah.
Well, that
Um,
makes more sense than donut. I mean, what's donut mean? Donut. Sweet circle, you can understand what that is, right?
Yeah, like we just literally translate to like sweet circle, like
Right.
China.
There's some innocent translations like that in Indonesian that are kind of refreshing because they're literal observations of what the thing is, and that's what they call it. It's, as opposed to this donut. It's dough. It's dough, I guess, right?
Yeah, dough.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah, the last one we're gonna talk about three words, which from the fruits we call lychee, right? Lychee is a fruit, like it was like a tropical fruit, I think.
It
No?
is. I don't
Yes,
think they
yeah.
have them in this. I don't think they're indigenous in the States.
Yeah,
We have lychees here. That's a big deal here.
yeah. I mean, cause I can barely like for me when I was back when it was Oklahoma, I barely find lychee, and I love lychee. So when I found lychee, I was like, let me have all of
Yeah.
those, please.
Where do you find the lychee in Oklahoma, right?
Like Chinese market, Chinese
Yeah.
supermarket, and they have a lychee.
Or
tree.
mangoes. Mangoes wouldn't be that easy to find.
Mango is typical like a tropical fruit. Like,
Right.
Yeah, and
In
like-
in Pakistan, there are mangoes that are this big.
really, dang,
Yeah.
that's a giant one. Yeah.
Yeah, giant.
Yeah.
I show them to my kids when the mangoes are in the lesson every once in a while, and
Uh-huh.
I have these pictures of this guy walking in the market in Pakistan, and they're literally the size of a jackfruit.
Wow.
They're gigantic. I have no idea what they taste like, but they must not be that good, or they'd be exporting them everywhere.
Yeah.
Because there's like
Wow.
4,000 species of mangoes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mangoes.
Yeah, they have like the yellow one, the green ones, big one, small one, tiny. All kind of like different flavor too. It's like a lot sweet, not sweet, a little bit sweet.
I had a mango tree in my front yard in one house I had, and it was an old tree, and it was quite prolific, and I'd hire a kid to go pick them and stuff, and
Oh.
and I mean, people would come by and say, well, we'll pick your mango tree and we'll give you half the mangoes if we can pick your tree. And they climb all the way to the top. I mean, they just clean the thing out, and you get boxes and boxes of mangoes.
Wow. That's
I mean, and they two times a year here.
wow.
So mango season is just about upon us, because at Christmas in June and July is mango season, and also in December.
Wow.
So, and it's great. I eat mangoes every day.
I have some mangoes at my house still. Like we chop it, like put in like little square piece.
Sure.
And put it in the bowl, and then I like to eat it cold, and then so we put it in the fridge the next day.
If you
We do
want it
like-
cold, put it in ice cream.
Oh, we don't have ice cream at my house.
You don't.
Yeah,
What?
I
You
know.
can go buy it.
Yeah, I don't have it. Like they're
You
like, no, my mama said you eat ice cream, you get fat. So no. Yeah, and then also like so in Chinese we call lychee 荔枝, and also for mango, like I remember one of our teachers posted on Facebook about mango, and in Chinese we call 芒果, mango, 芒果. And also another interesting one is pudding, and in Chinese we call 布丁. So pudding is 芒果, mango, 芒果. So you have the mang, the mon, the mang and mon. sound. And then lychee is the first word. The first sound is like kind of like a similar one, like lychee, and then li zhi, like the li thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Are you there, Mary? Mary?
荔枝，
Li zhi.
枝，荔枝。
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said
Yes,
Mary.
I'm here.
Are you doing barbecue?
Okay. Are you out having a block party or something? What are you doing outside? It's the middle of the night. You out there with the girls drinking?
I'm actually. We're actually coming back in the house as we speak.
Oh.
Yes,
Got too rowdy outside.
the whole mango discussion.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't eat mangoes that they're too sweet.
Oh, you're already sweet, right, Mary?
I don't eat mangoes. I think they're too sweet.
The line would be,
I guess so.
I don't eat mangoes. I'm already sweet. I'm already sweet. But whenever they ask me if I want sugar in everything in Indonesia has sugar in it. And if you get coffee, they say, "Do you want sugar?"
Oh, okay.
No, thank you. I'm already sweet. Can you get lychees? Are lychees available in the United States? Can you buy a lychee?
Yeah. Me.
You know what they are?
Lychee.
Those before. I have not eaten those before. I don't know what those are.
Well, they're
I've heard of them.
they're about the size of a, I don't know, really, really big grape. And they have
Yes. I know.
they kind of have
Okay,
like
okay.
a paper covering. I mean, it's not paper, but they have a shell, but it's really kind of a skin, a dry skin. They're kind of unique because they look very, very dry on the outside, and you peel this kind of very thin skin off of it, and then there's this quite succulent middle that has a large seed in the middle of it, so it's not too difficult to eat. And I think they're kind of like the consistency of a grape, and they're good. I mean, they make great juice.
Yeah.
Lychee juice. Really,
Yeah. And then I remember, like, that's one of my favorite fruit for the lychee. And then I remember this one time, like, I ate a whole pack of it. And then you know what happened afterwards? And
I
then
can imagine what happened.
yeah, my nose
got
I started
sick.
bleeding, like just like
Oh, really?
yeah,
Wow.
it's too powerful. Like and
Whoa.
so they only so I went to the doctor. It's like my no bleeding, right? And then they were like, "Son, you need to do not eat that much of a lychee. That's the result." And then those like, "What's the recommend? Like how many lychee?" It's like only you can eat like 2 or 3 of that. Otherwise, it costs like a nose. Your nose gonna bleed out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're getting feedback, Mary.
Yeah. I think is she on 2?
She is. She's still
Yeah.
multitasking.
Yeah, my questions, do you have any, like, what else there are English loanwords that you can think of? Or, like,
Well, I don't
coffee.
know. I mean, computer. What about technology? I mean, a lot of the words now in Indonesia that are borrowed words are like
Yeah.
CD drive or floppy disk or computer or CPU. I mean, there seems to be almost a universal language about computers that they don't even change the words.
Yeah, that's a good example. Like, DVD, in Chinese, we just call it DVD.
Right. Yeah.
VCDs, we just call it VCD.
Yeah.
But like, we have a MP3, MP4, like the media files.
Right.
Yeah, and we call it MP, but instead of the number, we call it in Chinese. So
Okay.
remember the last one of our Chinese culture chat, we talked about numbers, right? So
Right.
MP3 means is MP 3, So sun is the Chinese word for 3, and then MP4 is MP4. So 4.
是.
Yeah.
So
Sun
what
and-
about handphone?
Huh? Handphone, we call it cell phone, handphone. We call it 手机.
Shoji.
Hand,
Shoji.
机 machine,
Okay.
or hand machine. Like 手
Hand,
机.
hand machine.
Yeah,
Interesting.
机 is like 电视机, like TV, television, TV machine. Like the G is like a machine thing, mechanic. Machine.
How about 3G?
3G, we call it 3G.
3G. Okay.
3G. So sun.
Or 4G would be 4G. See.
There you go. Got it, Darcy. Yeah. Get it.
Okay, I graduated. Goodbye. See ya.
Alright. Yeah, and I think that's about it for this.
What about artificial intelligence, AI?
AI? We call it 人工机器.
Wow.
人工
AI is 人工机器. Wouldn't
Yeah,
AI be AI? We don't even
人工
say artificial intelligence in
Yeah,
English. We're too lazy.
yeah,
AI.
AI. We call it 人工 like a 人工 something. Yeah. Yeah. That's let me search AI like a 中文. Let me see. Yeah. Artificial intelligence. I think it was called 人工
What about car?
汽车
Teacher.
or called 车. So we want to like AI style. We call it 车. Just call it 车. Yeah. And then
Nice chua, Mas. Nice chua.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So AI is 人工智能. Oh yeah. AI, artificial
Well,
intelligence.
that's you
It's-
don't have
it's
an
way-
abbreviation like AI for it.
No, we don't have it like that.
That's too
It's
bad.
called forward. It's
You know, it would seem like anybody would understand the concept of AI, especially if they were computer literate. And
Yeah, like-
most people that are computer literate have to speak English because English is the de facto language of the internet, much to the chagrin of the French. The French think it should be French, of course.
Mhm.
And the English will never admit that 40% of the words in the English language are French because everybody knows the French and the English don't like each other
Yeah.
and have never liked each other. Even though they're all related, you know, they're kings and queens were all brothers and sisters and cousins.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah. For the AI thing, I remember like when I went to one of the expos in China for like technology thing, they will say it the full word 人工智能, and they have a parentheses on it, and it says AI, so they will know what is going on. Yeah. And yeah. Thank you guys for showing up and thank you for Darcy and thank you for Mary and for this.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you, Culture Check, and I'll see you guys on next Thursday. All right.
Next Thursday.
再见，再
All right,
见。
再见，再见，拜拜。